And on passive, it's about 4 inches. It's between your ears. If you can believe, you can conceive, and it will happen because you're always 100% right. If you believe you can, you can. If you believe you can't, you won't. Here's Mike Ellis. Mike, be kind.
No, Marty, that was very, very good. I enjoyed listening to all of that, and one of the things you said is just so appropriate. And what you said, it's alive, and that is on passive. It's alive. If you've seen that movie, you know where that comes from. But when you look at it on passive, not only is it alive, you can't kill it. It's done. It's going to go forever. And I got a little I got a little worried when I saw the title of Marty's of this live, and it's about the numbers. And of course, the first thing that went through my mind is this is the day I get terminated. But I'll try and stay in the lines. But really, the reason we're coming on and talking about the numbers is just to get those out of the way. Once you understand what OnPassive has done and is doing right now today, you won't think about the numbers anymore. So I'll go over the numbers, and I'll go with the things we know, and then from that we'll go into assumptions. And all the numbers that I'm going to be giving you, they're what we think. We don't really know how it's going to play out, and you'll understand that as I go through them. But we know today that Mr. Mufareh has $38 million that's coming back from the merchants that he's going to distribute to the affiliates. Excuse me, guys. We know that. Now, that $38 million is at 25%. Okay, here's where the assumptions start to come in. We don't know exactly what that $38 million is, okay? It could be the 25%. If it is, the amount of money that Mr. Mufareh is getting back from the merchants is massive. It's massive anyway. But let's just assume that that $38 million is around 48% of what OnPassive has brought in, okay? And again, that's an assumption that OnPassive is going to pay out 45% of the amount of money they bring in to the affiliates, okay? Again, we're just assuming things. And if we assume that only 75% of the people came in, the affiliates came in and bought OConnect, that's where that money came from, then we can extrapolate from that OnPassive will be bringing in about $85 million from the merchants. Excuse me, guys. A little bit of a head cold, but that's okay. I'll get through it. So we're assuming that not only is OnPassive bringing in the $38 million, but they're bringing in really $85 million, and a lot of that goes to OnPassive, a lot of that goes to the affiliates. Those are all assumptions, but I think they're pretty close, give or take. If we bring in the other 25% that come in and buy OConnect, all of a sudden, the amount of money that OnPassive is bringing in monthly is around $100 million. That's a pretty good chunk of change, and that's one product. That's OConnect. And you have to understand, they did this in about 2 weeks. That's why all the problems came into play. They did this so quickly that everybody said, no, that's impossible. No company can do that. And of course, OnPassive is not just another company, and they did do that. So when we start to assume what's happening with an OnPassive with one product and everybody buying is $100 million. Now, we know right behind that, again, these are the numbers that I believe are going to be happening very, very quickly. We know that right behind that, there are going to be 4 other products coming in, right? Now, we don't know what they're going to charge for these products, but let's just assume it's going to be $100 a product. So instead of $100 million coming in, now we've got $500 million coming in. And on passive shares 45% in commissions to the affiliates is 225 million. That's a month. I'm not talking about a year here, guys. That's a month if we have a monthly fee for those. When you start to think about that, you start to think about your position, you start to think about what OnPassive is going to be doing for you. And again, we don't know how the commission is going to be structured or how it's going to flow. We know the 25% is set in stone, but after that, we don't know what the corporate volume is going to be like and how it's going to be distributed, but it's going to benefit everybody. Okay. That's the easy part. That's what's happening right now. That's what could be. That's what could be happening with 1 million people in OnPassive, 1 million accounts, 5 products, 500 million a month. Now, when we listen to Mr. Mufareh, we know that he believes over the course of the first year, and I think this is very, very conservative, that 100 million people are going to come into OnPassive, 100 million accounts. Right now, we've got 1 million. Now, think about 100 million, okay? 100 million with one product, OConnect, $100 account. What is that number? This is where the numbers get so crazy that you can get to a point where you can't even comprehend them. But understanding that they're going to get that big, you don't have to worry about the numbers. You can just set them aside. So 100 million people, $100, that's 50. And I have to look at the number because every time I look at it, it just blows me away. It's $10 billion a month. Okay? Now we go with 5 products, 100 million people. It's $50 billion a month. 5 products. 5 products. Okay? Now you extrapolate those 5. This is just 5 products, guys. We're going to have over 50 products. But when you extrapolate that 5 products over a year time, it's $600 billion. Now, I can't even wrap my mind around that figure. Again, this is all speculation. If we just extrapolate things using some very simple figures, and we don't know what the cost of the products are going to be. Some are going to be 100, some are going to be more than 100, some are going to be less than 100. But just $100 per product, 5 products over the course of the year, $600 billion. Right there, we don't need to go any further than that, period. We just don't need to do it. And that's, yeah, absolutely crazy. Now you insert that 50 product number in there. Just insert it in there. And again, the number that comes up, you can't comprehend that number. But if we use the same extrapolation with 50 products, 100 million people over the course of the year, what do you think that number is? Now there are no companies in the world that make this kind of money. Not a one, not even Apple. The largest company in the world today does not make the number that I'm going to throw out to you. Okay? 50 products, 100 million people over the course of the year. It's over $6 trillion. Okay? That's 100 million accounts. We've got 5.6 billion people in the world, everybody trying to do digital transformation. Do you think we're going to stop at 100 million accounts in OnPassive? No. It's going to go to 100 to 200 to 300 to 400 to 500 million accounts within OnPassive. And then when you put that number in there and extrapolate it out, I don't even want to talk about that number. All I'm doing here is giving you the understanding of what OnPassive is doing. Marty's already talked about the unlimited ability of OnPassive. This shows you it is unlimited. And what you can do within OnPassive, Marty's absolutely right. It depends on what's between your ears, what you can think. Because you can literally do anything within OnPassive. You know, Marty talked about that young lady that talked about her business. And I'm thinking, I'm going, you know, she could do this using OnPassive and make $1 million by accident, total accident. And that doesn't include what OnPassive is going to bring to the table. So when you start to think about the numbers of OnPassive and all the numbers that I've gone over, remember, always remember, in the AI IT area, artificial intelligence and informational technology products, all of those products, all the revenue that comes in goes through the affiliates, you and I, all of it. Now, how much of that is Mr. Mufareh going to give to it? He's already told us. He's going to give us as much as legally possible. Is it 45%? I don't know. Could it be 50%? Could be. Could it be 55? Could be. Could it be 35? I don't know. Whatever that number is, when you start to extrapolate from where we are right now, 38 million in the bank, and understand that it's much, much more than that because OnPassive's money is in there too. And then you start to distribute that to the affiliates, through the commissions, through the bonus structure, through the corporate volume. All of a sudden you get to a point where you understand, yeah, I'm going to be fine. And then it takes me to a place in Africa, Cameroon. And this just blows me away. An individual in Cameroon, and the tech guys shared this with us, and when I heard it, I was flabbergasted. They can make $500 a month and live like royalty. I mean, literally royalty. They can have a mansion, they can have servants, they can have all the cars they want, they can do whatever they want to do. And then I think about the numbers of OnPassive and what's going to be happening to these individuals that want to come in and just make $200. And my response to that is, can that happen? Yeah, that's going to happen for you. But what's going to happen after that, you can't stop, because you're not going to just make $200, in my opinion. You're going to make $2,000, and then it's going to be $5,000, and this is monthly. And when that happens to an individual who can live like royalty on $500 a month, think what happens when they make $1,000 a month, or $2,000 a month, or $5,000 a month. Now they can change that country, because it's just not one person in that country. Because I believe over time, most of that country is going to come into OnPassive because of the genius behind the structure of OnPassive and what Mr. Mufareh has done. So hopefully this doesn't get me terminated, guys. It's just speculation from that 38 million that we know is there and what could happen over the course of the next few months and the next year. I believe OnPassive will have way more than 100 million accounts in OnPassive. And then when you start to extrapolate the numbers with even more than 100 million accounts, it just gets to a place where my mind can't comprehend it. I can look at the numbers as abstract things, but these are not abstract. These are real things that are going to be happening within OnPassive, and it's going to benefit each and every one of us. So hopefully these numbers help you. Just put the numbers aside, put it behind you. And that's why Marty, Dan, and I, that's why Mr. Mufareh, we don't really think about the numbers anymore. I mean, it's fun to do the exercise. I did this morning, and I just had to stop because it was getting ridiculous. But the numbers, they're there, they're real, they are going to be happening, in my opinion, and you can put them aside. OnPassive, it is the real deal. It is alive, and it's not going anywhere. Marty, go ahead and take it from there. Hopefully those are okay.
Fantastic. That's right. It's alive. I saw that movie when I was a kid. Yeah, we were just trying. Listen, once again, as a disclaimer, we are two gentlemen that happen to be in OnPassive for over 5 years. We read tea leaves, OnPassive tea leaves, and we're pretty good at it. Do we know everything? No, absolutely not. I don't want to know. What we could do is look at what's happened, look at what we do know, and then move it around a little bit. And like I said, it was our opinion, but I believe everything that we said could happen. I really do. I believe more than likely it will happen. But, and like Mike said, when you know that the numbers don't even make sense, like they're beyond, stop thinking about it. We're going to be fine. When 99% of the people on OnPassive, life-changing at $500 a month, what impact are we going to make as a company? I can't wait. And all of you, we're all going to do very, very well. Part of the reason myself, Mike, and Dan are even here and stayed here is because we saw for the first time in our lives that anything we did, anything we built straight across, all of that, we believed indirectly would help many, 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 many other people. And Mike with the videos, he did it knowing it's going to go way beyond whatever we do for our so-called team. It was to help everyone. We've done that from the beginning. We mean what we're doing. Dan Street is exactly the same way. And most of you are that way. That's why we all get along. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for being here. It was powerful. Mike wants to say one more thing. This is the part where we're going to jail. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
we get in trouble here, but Marty sparked so many things. Listen, understand, Marty, Dan, and I, we've been doing this for a good 20 years. Really, when you look at when we started and how long we've been doing this, we understand what we're doing. And when we have the opportunity to come into On Passive and listen to Mr. Mufareh and actually be in front of Mr. Mufareh while he talked to all three of us, we understood what we had. And then as Mr. Mufareh talked more and more, not only to us, but to all the affiliates, because of the experience we've had, we knew what was happening. It's not a question, did we think we knew? We knew what was happening. This is 5 years ago, guys. This is why Marty, Dan, and I have been so excited for the last 5.5 years. We knew what was going on five and a half years ago. And as Mr. Mufareh changed his vision, we saw his vision. It's not that we made it up. We saw his vision, and we projected that out through On Passive. So when you come in and you listen to Marty, when you listen to Dan, when you listen to me, or you listen to Red or Chris, understand this is no longer speculation for us. The numbers are, because they're going to fluctuate. On Passive is not speculation. We know what's going to happen, period. I can tell you what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. Now, I'm going to let Mr. Mufareh do that, and we're going to see it in person because it's happening right now. But when you come in and you listen to Marty, or you listen to Dan, or you listen to some of these other affiliates in On Passive, it's not speculation anymore. You can take this stuff to the bank. And when you have that assurance, man, you ought to wake up with a smile, because things are going to be happening, and they're happening right now. That's it. I could go on for another hour, Marty, but I get pumped up when, I mean, this it's now. It's happening right now. It's not a year down the road. It's not a month. It's now. So go ahead, Marty. I won't say anything more.
No, that's good. I love it. I just got to be careful because I might say more too. No, but the point is, and remember, all the fences that we build up around our minds and our body and our belief and what is possible, On Passive has destroyed them.
Yep.
As far as you can see here and here, you can go. If you're having a problem seeing any farther than a 2-mile radius, you need to work on that. You're not in the right place here. Get there, get right, find out what you have. At least, listen, even the minimum, if you're really good at figuring out what we have in On Passive, it will cause sleepless nights, trust me. But we're going to have a lot of fun. We're here to help everyone.